Let's see here. Yeah, something like that. And then, I don't know, it's not quite right. It's missing something. Maybe something like that? No. Ah, got it. Perfect. Finally, a well-rounded design. Hello everybody and welcome back to your Weekday Weekend. My name is Adam. Today we're going to go over the very basics of CAD. So I've touted how important CAD is before. I've talked about how I think a lot of people should learn CAD and how it can really improve your daily life, especially if you have a 3D printer or access to one. But today I'm going to put my money where my mouth is and teach all of you some very basic CAD skills. I'm using Alibre Design Expert, but you can use any CAD software you like, including some of the free options like Onshape or FreeCAD. Tinkercad is another free option, but I wouldn't recommend it for this video. But if you are interested in Tinkercad, Teaching Tech did a very good video about it a couple days ago. I'll put a link up here if you would like to watch that. So this video already assumes you know how to download and install your preferred CAD software, if applicable. Some work in a browser. Anyway, we're going to go over some of the more basic features. This video also assumes that you can navigate your way around the interface a little bit. You don't need to know what everything does, but you should have the basic computer skills of being able to click buttons and use the keyboard. So here we go. Alright, so when you first open up your CAD software, it'll probably look something like this. Designing in CAD is going to start on a plane. These are your three planes here. We have an XY plane, a YZ plane, and a ZX plane, or a ZX plane if you're wrong. Each CAD software is different, but I have mine set up to be relatively standard. If you hold down the right mouse button and drag, you can orbit your object. If you hold the middle mouse button and drag, you can move your object around two-dimensionally. You scroll up or down, you can zoom in or out. And those are the basics of moving around. From here, we're going to start with very basics. We're going to start with sketches, and then those sketches are going to be extruded to be three-dimensional. Imagine drawing something on paper and then having it pop up at you. Let's go to Start a Sketch. In Alibre, it's up here at the top left, the Activate 2D Sketch button, and it doesn't look like anything happened, but really it's waiting for input. In fact, if you look down at the bottom, it says select a reference plane, planar face, or a sketch to proceed. So I'm going to click on this XY plane here, and now I get my sketch tools. Now again, every software is different. For me, I'm going to center myself to the plane, so I'm looking right at it. I'm normal to the plane. Then I'm going to hide my planes as well, just to kind of get them out of the way, so I'm not trying to look through them at my sketch. I'm going to go up to the top here, and I'm going to select my rectangle tool. Click, drag my mouse, and click again. Depending on your CAD software, you might have to click and hold, or something a little slightly different. But either way, hopefully you now have a rectangle on screen, just like this. Now you might have a rectangle by center tool. In fact, Alibre Design Expert does have that tool. And if you have it, you should probably use it, but I'm going to do a rectangle by 2 points just to show some other staples of a parametric CAD software. And those are constraints. So if I go to just my select tool, you can see that the whole shape moves. Nothing here is defined, meaning everything here is not set in stone. It doesn't know how to interpret this shape. I haven't told it how big this shape is. And if you look at the bottom right, it tells you that these red lines are completely undefined. So I'm going to press D on my keyboard for the dimension tool, and most CAD softwares probably have the dimension tool set to D. But if not, you'll have some kind of dimension tool on your top toolbar. I'm going to click and position my dimension, and I'm going to do 25 millimeters. Your shape should resize accordingly. Now we're actually kind of moved around here. I get myself closer to the origin. Now I could use my dimension tool and do this other side as well, but instead I'm actually going to use a constraint. Every CAD software should have some section for constraints. In Alibre, it's up here kind of in the middle. I'm going to look for the equal constraint. Selecting that, I'm going to select my first line that I just dimensioned, and my other line. From here, these two lines are in equal size. And in fact, if I decide that instead I want to change this side to be 30 millimeters, they both change. We're actually going to go back and change it back to 25 though. From here, The size of the square is defined, but its position in 3D space is not. So I'm going to use a nice feature in Alibre, and many other CAD softwares probably have something similar, but I'm going to define a midline by 3 points. I'm going to click this point, and the origin, which will make sure that we're centered along this axis. I'm going to do the same thing one more time with this point, and this point, and now you can see everything is black, which means we're fully defined. For best practice, always fully define every time. From here, we're going to extrude. So, your CAD software should have some kind of button that says extrude. Now actually right here, Alibre doesn't look like it does, because it wants you to deactivate the sketch first, but you can actually skip that step in Alibre if you have a keyboard shortcut for extrude, and I do. I set mine to E. Whatever your keyboard shortcut is for extrude, go ahead and find it, or just click the button on your toolbar. If your CAD software has the option, we're going to change our extrude type to midplane. By the way, some softwares, including Alibre, might call it extrude boss. That means to extrude a three-dimensional shape rather than a hole, because you can also have an extrusion that's a hole. You can extrude a negative volume. So we're going to extrude a positive volume and make a 3D shape. After we choose midplane extrude, we're then going to do another 25. And there we go. We press enter and we have our cube, 25 millimeters by 25 millimeters by 25 millimeters. Most all CAD softwares should offer some way to measure what you've just created. In Alibre, you can just click on any kind of vertice or line, or indeed any face, and it will tell you information about it. So if I just click one of these edges here, it tells me length of 25 millimeters. And I can click this one too. Same thing, 25 millimeters, and I can click this one here, 25 millimeters. And again, most CAD softwares probably have some way to inspect your shape or measure it. And again, the inspect tab here gives me a measurement tool. And I could do the same thing as I just did by choosing this edge and this edge. And it gives me the distance between them, 25 millimeters. So we've confirmed that our shape is the exact size we want it. Not that we needed to, because we put in the right information, right? But we can do even better. We're going to make our shape a little bit more complicated now. Let's go ahead and show our planes. We're going to do another sketch on any one of these planes, because all three of them bisect our cube. I'm going to go ahead and choose this XY plane here. Activate a sketch, and click on my XY plane. Little side note, anything is accessible through the left pane as well, the Design Explorer and Alibre, but it might be called something else in your software. If you can't physically click on something because either it's hidden or it's kind of hard to reach, maybe it's smaller, you should be able to click on it on the left-hand side there if you know what it is. Most CAD softwares will highlight what you're about to click on, and it works the same way. I'm going to center myself normal to the plane again, and hide my planes. And we're going to do a circle this time. Most CAD softwares probably have circle set to C, but if yours does not, go ahead and find your circle tool. We're going to click on our origin, which should be clearly marked, and we're going to drag out a circle. I'm going to go ahead and just use a shortcut here, and if you notice, it's waiting for a value. If I just type 12.5 and press enter, you can see that it automatically did a dimension for the diameter for 12.5 millimeters. I'm going to do an extrude hole. For me, that's Shift E, but remember I have custom configured my keyboard shortcuts. You should be able to find a button that will extrude a negative volume on your CAD software. I'm going to again change the type to be through all. In this case, that means it's going to go through everything. And now we can see in the preview that it's going through everything. We're going to click OK. I'm going to repeat the same process on the other faces without a circle in them. See if you can do this on your own. Alright, done. So you're probably not done yet. Go ahead and pause it and we will reconvene in just a minute. So if you couldn't do it as fast as I did, don't worry, that's okay. But I just wanted to show how quickly you can churn out some parts when you get good at your CAD software. And it is important to practice your CAD software just like anything else. So we're going to add one last finishing touch to our part, and that's going to be some fillets. your CAD software should hopefully have a fillet button somewhere. Mine in the Alibre is right up here. It's clearly marked. We're going to click it. It's going to ask us for some edges. Now in Alibre, I can cheat and show all of my edges. But in your CAD software, you might have to pan the camera a little bit. Go ahead and select all the outside edges of your cube. Remember, a cube has 12 edges. Make sure you select all 12. Alright, I think I got all 12. Just going to double check. Yes, I did. I'm going to go ahead and give that a 2.5mm fillet. There we go. We're looking good. This is exactly the part I wanted to create, and it's dimensionally accurate exactly how I specified. Let me show you some of the more brilliant features of CAD. So remember when I asked you guys to do the other 2 circular holes through our shape? Did you remember to do them mid-plane? As in, did you remember to select one of the planes that is centered to the cube? Or did you figure something else out? Did you figure out by accident maybe that you could do a sketch on one of the faces of the cube? In fact, you can, and that makes CAD really powerful because any additional face you create can be used just like a plane. But there's one last thing that's even more amazing. They call it parametric CAD for a reason. As every single step is derived from the last. So we have a bar over here on the left that I can drag all the way back up to our very first extrusion. And I can edit our sketch. Then I can change this sketch to actually be 35mm. And because we set this to be equal, it will still be equal on both sides. I'm then going to deactivate my sketch. And you'll see that our extrusion isn't actually also 35. I'm actually going to change this depth here to be D1. That's the same dimension label that it had for the sketch here. Yours might not have that feature. You'll have to double check and see if it does. Maybe check on your forum for your CAD software. But if you're using Alibre, every single dimension has a variable assigned to it. And we're going to take advantage of that feature with this extrusion. By doing that, we ensure that whenever we modify this value for the sketch, let's do 29.5689414126778, enter, and it's going to round it off just for the sake of keeping it concise, but it is dimensionally accurate. And I'm going to reload. Everything changed, including this extrusion, which stays the D1 value. You might have to manually type in the same value depending on your CAD software. Let's go back to 25mm, and let's reload the part, and we're back to exactly what we started with. That's how powerful CAD can be. Because if you manufacture this, whether you 3D print it or otherwise, and you decide it doesn't quite fit how you wanted it to, maybe the part is slightly too big and you forgot that plastic expands a little bit, you can do, say, 24.8 and reload the whole part. So hopefully that was helpful. If you liked this video and you learned something, leave a like. If you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. I think I'm going to try to do a couple more of these. If you would like some more CAD practice or you want to challenge yourself, go ahead and check out weekdayweekend.net/workshop for some free practice models to try. It's completely free, no ads, no sign up. Just go to the website and practice some CAD. I'll see you there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for spending your day with me. Remember, on my channel, every day is a weekend. Don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, join the Discord, check out my Twitch, check out my website, weekdayweekend.net/workshop. And I'll see you next time, next weekend. Bye.